Hi students, I came with a new topic called data sufficiency. If you are preparing for Infosys campus drive, 5 questions compulsory. And if you are preparing for the elitmus, 4 questions. Capgemini also gives you 2 questions. Don't worry, Accenture also gives you. And if you're going for the banking examination, you're going to have a lot of questions. And I said examination, I'm going to 10 questions from this topic, students. So let's try to start this topic. Here, I'm going to teach you 5 questions. Don't miss to watch this video till the end. Hope you will have the great questions in this. Let's try to see the first question on the screen. In this question is asking you, what is the cost of fencing a rectangular compound wall if the length of the wire is 20 rupees per meter? Okay. Now, here he's going to give you 2 statements. The statement 1, if you see, he gave you area. The area is 40 meters square. Are you able to answer with this or not? Let's try to check it out. Now, one more statement is given to you, statement 2. And here in this thing, he told you the length is twice the breadth. Length is equal to 2 times of breadth. So which data is sufficient, we are supposed to find out. But we want the requirement. The requirement in this question, he told you cost of fencing. Students, let me tell you, this is a compound wall. In this compound wall, you wanted to construct a wire. You have to construct a wire here. So if you wanted to put a wire here, you require perimeter. You require perimeter. Perimeter, we're going to give 2 times of L plus B. So if you have L value, if you have B value, you can find out perimeter. And then in fact, you can multiply 20 rupees per meter and get the answer. But we have not been given perimeter. We have been given area, the first statement. Okay. Now, let's talk about how can we use this 2 things, length and breadth we want. That's not given, but area is given. I'm using the first statement. In the first statement, he gave you area is equal to 40 meters square. Area, students, area is length into breadth, that is 40. But we don't want length into breadth. We want perimeter, that is 2 times of L plus B. In fact, you want L value, you want B value to substitute. But L into B is nowhere related, and L into B is not sufficient to answer this question. So let's try to take the help of the second statement. Now, when you take the second statement, I tell you that you have to not concentrate on the first statement. So remove all that which you have taken in the first statement. Now, first statement is the second statement. Here, he gave you length is 2 times of breadth. Relationship is given to you, but values are not given to you. So I don't think so it will be sufficient for you to answer. So students, the first statement individually is not sufficient. The second statement individually is not sufficient. Now what I'm going to do, my task is, I'm going to take these 2 statements. If these 2 statements are helpful for you, then you can answer as E. If you think that even after clubbing these 2 statements, you're not able to answer, your answer is D. So let's try to club these 2 statements and check. Now, let's try to go with the first statement. The first statement says L into B is 40 meter. And the second statement says L is 2 times of B. Now, let me use this as a first equation, this as a second equation. Solving these 2 equations, I'm going to get L value and B value. Let me show you how. Here, L value means 2B. So instead of this L, I can put 2B. So we can multiply this 2B into B is equal to 40. 2B square is equal to 40. B square is 20. So you will get B value as root 20. Whatever you got the B value, that B value, if you substitute here, definitely you'll get L value as well. Are you sure? So let's try to capture L value. So with the help of this, L value is 2 into B value, that is root 20. So now you have length with you, now you have breadth with you. Hope you can find out the perimeter. And once you get perimeter, you can multiply this perimeter into 20 rupees. This is the way we can use now. So I think that the statement 1 and statement 2 are sufficient to answer. Let's try to move forward for the next question. Students, this question is given in elitmus. two equations are given to you. In order to find out this answer, find the value of 2x plus 3y, he gave you two statements. Which statement is sufficient to answer? We don't know. So let's try to move forward and just to check it out here. He gave you in the first statement 2x plus 15y is equal to 24. So in this thing, we want 2x plus 3y. Students, I don't think so that this one equation is sufficient to answer this value of 2x plus 3y, because here you have got only one equation with two variables. Now the second equation is given to you, 6x plus 9y is equal to 18. So most of the students have a thought. In their lower classes, they have used these two statements and solved the x value and balancing that and getting y value, and after getting y value they'll get x value. This is a way. But here this is a little tricky which they have given in the elitmus. So if you solely concentrate on the second equation, that will be enough for you to answer this question. Look at that, what he told you. 6x plus 9y makes 18. Students, I think something is common here, that is 3. If you take 3 common, then you in brackets 2x plus 3y is equal to 18. So 2x plus 3y value, if you substitute this 3 ones are 3 6. So 2x plus 3y is 6. So it's not compulsory that you are supposed to club these two. Only with one equation when we are getting the answer, so that is sufficient. So we can say that the statement 2 alone is sufficient to answer this question. Little tricky. Most of the people think that we have to club these two statements and we have to cancel this and get the x value, get the y value. No. Second equation somewhat related to the given question. So statement 2 alone is sufficient to answer. I think you're understanding this. Let's try to move forward to the next question on the screen now. Now, on the screen, if you see, he's asking you how many boys are there in the class. For this, he has given you two statements, statement 1 and statement 2. In the statement 1, he told you the number of boys are 24 more than the number of girls. And he also told you the second statement, the percentage of boys is 65% in the class. Girls percentage you can find out. Boys percentage he gave you. Now, so what is necessary for answering this? Let's try to have a look only on the first statement. Don't look at the second statement, only the first statement. In this thing he gave you, boys are 24 more than girls. Means boys are extra. Boys are not 24. Boys are 24 more than girls. Means the difference between the boys and girls is 24. Students, he gave you boys and girls have a gap of 24. Now, here, how many boys he's asking you? So, we cannot answer the number of boys because difference is given to you. So, let's try to keep this statement aside. Now, we will go with the next statement. In the next statement he gave you, the percentage of boys is 65. Means in the class, boys have 65%. So using this data, we cannot answer how many boys are there. Boys have 65%, but number wise we don't know how many boys are there. He's asking you how many boys are there, not the percentage. So data 1 is not sufficient and the data 2 is not sufficient. Let's try to club these two data and we can answer or not. Let's try to have a look. Now students, when boys are 65%, so girls will be definitely rest of the percentage. So we believe like total strength of the class is 100%. In that boys are 65%, so definitely remaining are girls. That makes 65? No, that should be 35%, because from 100% you remove this, you're gonna have 35%. Now students, here we're gonna have 65%, we're gonna have 35%. So this is the one which we got from the statement 2. And he told you in the first statement, the boys and girls have a gap of 24. Now, this is little tricky students. Here, you can just try to think that the difference between the boys and girls, you have to check that 65% of boys and 35% of girls. If you see the gap, it makes you 30%. So we can understand that the gap between the boys and girls is 30% in the class. And he also told you the difference between the boys and girls is 24. So we can 100% say that this 24 is not boys, this 24 is not girls, this 24 is the difference between the boys and girls. So 24 stands for 30%. Now 30% stands for 24, so we can get 10% as 8. When 10% is 8, the 100% of the class strength is 80. So in this way, we can answer the question. For answering this question, I want the statement 1 and I want the statement 2. Using these two statements only you are able to answer. The trick is the difference of percentage. So we can say that both statement 1 and both statement 2 are together sufficient to answer this question. So in this way, the tricks are given to you. So which data is sufficient, you are supposed to find out. Hope you are understanding this question. Now let's try to move to the next question, which is there on the screen now. Now let's try to see the next question on the screen. He told you a man purchased 48 bananas, means 4 dozen, 48 bananas along with 2 kgs of mangoes for rupees 75. And here we are supposed to find out what is the cost of 1 banana. For this, he gave you 2 statements. In the first statement, he gave you the cost of 4 bananas is 4 bananas along with 1 mango is 8 rupees. And the second statement is 1 kg mango are 3 mangoes. So let's try to check it out how we can do it. Students, it's a little bit easy because already in the question he gave you some data. What data he gave you? 48 bananas along with 2 kg mango is 75 rupees. So already he gave you one question. So let's try to take the help of the second statement. He told you in the second 4 bananas plus 1 mango is 8 rupees. So I think we can solve this equation. So don't be in a hurry, students. Try to understand that. Here there is a small twist in the question. Bananas you think that you can cancel. But here he gave you here 2 kg of mangoes and here 1 mango. See, the variables are different. In the first equation he gave you 2 kgs of mangoes. And the second one he gave you 1 single mango. So we cannot cancel these two. Here we don't know the kgs and mangoes are different. So statement 1 is not sufficient. So I'm not able to answer with the statement 1. So I'm removing the statement 1 data. Following? Now let's try to do the statement 2 alone. In the statement 2 he told you the number of mangoes weigh is 3 per kg. Means in 1 kg you have 3 mangoes. In 1 kg there are 3 mangoes, students. So definitely 2 kgs will have 6 mangoes. So this data is having only one equation. You cannot answer with this. So you cannot answer with the statement 1. You cannot answer with the statement 2. Now what do? Let me club these two and try to answer. 48 bananas along with 2 kg mangoes gives you 75 rupees in the question. Already he gave you. Now I'm telling the statement 1 that 4 bananas along with 1 mango is 8 rupees. As I told you earlier, we cannot solve, but I can take the statement to help. He told you the number of mangoes for 1 kg is 3. So this thing we just try to remove. Now it will be easy for you. So 1 kg is 3 mangoes. So definitely 2 kgs will be 6 mangoes. Now this is also mangoes. These are also mangoes. The number of mangoes are 6. The number of mangoes are 1. Students, I think here you can solve these two equations. Now when you can solve these two equations, you can definitely multiply this thing by 6. When you multiply here by 6, here you will get 6, 24, 48. Now definitely you can cancel this one. That is 48 minus 24 is 24 bananas. something around 75 minus 48, not required. But students, can you get one banana value or not? Yes, you can. How? Even if you are not doing, that is sufficient for you. That is 75 minus 48 makes you 7, 20. Here you're going to have 27. So one banana value is 27 by 24 rupees. It might be in decimals. We are not required to find out this value. Why we are not required? He taught you in this data sufficient or not. Yes, data is sufficient. No matter the banana value in decimal or not in decimal, we are not going to have the value of it. The question is data sufficient or not. Yes, data is sufficient to answer these two. So which statement is sufficient? Statement 1 and statement 2 both together are required. Statement 1 is giving one equation. Statement 2 is converting this thing. So using these two, we can able to answer. So I can say that both statement 1 and statement 2 are sufficient. Students, like this, we can move on and learn question by question. Let's try to see the last question of this. And this last question is very important. Here, the question is, a piece of wood is cut into 3 pieces, piece A, B, C. Now, are they equal or not? The question is, are these 3 pieces are equal or not? For example, here, this is a big piece of wood. It has cut into 3 pieces, piece A, piece B, piece C. Are these 3 pieces are equal or not? We have no idea whether we have cut equal pieces or not. But don't worry, he has given you a little bit of data. Using this data, can we answer or not? Let's check it out. But dear students, I told you, you should not use these two statements at once. Let me try to take the help of the first statement only and check it out. In the first statement, he told you the sum of A and B, if I add these two, A and B, I'm going to have 2/3 of the original piece. You know what is the original piece? This everything is the original piece, means A plus B plus C. So do you think that you can able to solve A is equal to B is equal to C? No, you can't. Let me check it out. Multiply this 3 here. 3A plus 3B, 2A, 2B and 2C. This comes here, that is 3A minus 2A, that is A. This comes here, 3B minus 2B is B, is equal to 2C. Students, this is the final equation left. This is a final equation left for us. Then I don't think so this data is sufficient. We need to prove that A is equal to B is equal to C, but it's not possible as of now. Now, let's try to see the second data. The second data I told you, B is equal to C. He told you B is equal to C, but our intention is that is A is equal to B is equal to C or not? This is our data. So this is what the question we are supposed to prove. Is A is equal to B is equal to C or not? But in the second statement, he told you only B and C are equal. So I don't think so. The statement 2 is also sufficient to answer. So statement 1 individually is not supported. This is not the answer. This is not the answer. This is not the answer. Simply 3 options are ruled out. Last attempt. Club these 2 statements. If you are able to answer, then answer is E. If you're not able to answer, option D is the correct. Both together are not sufficient. So let's try to move ahead and just try to see clubbing these 2. Now, this we got with the first statement. B is equal to C we got in the second statement. So here, individually, they are not sufficient to answer. Now I'm clubbing these 2. A plus, instead of B, I'll put C because B is equal to C. Now, A is equal to 2C minus C. A is equal to C. So we have understood that A is equal to C. So using these two equations, we have understood that A is equal to C, and he already told you B is equal to C. So students, when A is equal to C and in turn C is equal to B, so we have to understand that all the three are equal. So the question he asks you, is this A, B, C are all equal length or not? Yes, they are equal length. Then which data is sufficient to answer this question? I think statement 1 is sufficient, statement 2 both are sufficient. Then we can say that answer is E. Students, like this, you have got a lot of questions. In my next video, you will learn with a new topic with new questions. But I tell you seriously, don't miss this topic. Learn data sufficiency in depth in my upcoming videos. Thank you.
Subscribe Brainwiz and press the bell icon for more updates.